Stewardship. When I say that word, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? It's money, isn't it? And when you think of the word stewardship, the first thought that pops into your head is that he's going to be talking about money. Now, money is obviously part of stewardship, but the truth is that's not really what I want to talk to you about today. There's much more to stewardship and much more about what Jesus has to say about stewardship than just money. In fact, Jesus, when he's talking about stewardship, is talking about the whole of a man. Everything that we have, he's talking about. Everything that he gives us, he's talking about in regard to stewardship. And so we want to hit those things today. I want to talk to you about 3 areas in which I think that we can get better in terms of stewarding, that we can steward our time better, our body better, and our influence better. And so I want to talk about those 3 things today: your body, your time, and your stewardship. But I have learned that I'm not very good at doing multiple or covering multiple areas of stewardship. That it's often that I do a really good job preparing for sermons, but maybe not taking care of my body, or maybe I'm doing a really good job of taking care of all the pieces of ministry that I have, and maybe not paying as much attention to my family. And so what I want to make sure that we're hitting on today is that we have to think of this holistically, that we want to steward well all that God has given us, not just a part of it, but all of it, body, mind, and spirit, body, soul, and spirit. And then we always want to throw in calling, the things that we're doing as part of that as well. In Luke chapter 16, Jesus says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." That you and I, we have the opportunity to steward well the little things. We can steward what God has given us in the daily, that we can take care of all those pieces. Now just think about it. If we can't lead ourselves well, why would God want to put us in charge of a bunch or many? If we can't take care of our body, why would God want to trust us with leadership, given that our body might break down, right? That's a possibility in that. And so again, I want to talk about stewarding those things well today. I want to talk about stewarding first your body. That you don't need 6-pack abs. And I know I'm going to use that phrase over and over and over, but listen, there's video after video on YouTube about how to get 6-pack abs. Why? Because y'all want to get 6-pack abs, right? Like that's why there's those videos on here. But 6-pack abs does not guarantee that you're healthy, nor do you need 6-pack abs to be healthy. And so we want to make sure that we're taking care of our body to the best of our ability. It means moving your body. It means resting your body. It means doing everything that you can to steward what God has given you, that you want to make sure that you're available when God calls you. And so we don't want to be broke down. We don't want to be sick. We don't want to be wore out. We don't want to be burnt out. We've got to make sure that we're taking care of this physical body that God has given us. And it's difficult, but it is part of stewardship. Stewarding your body well matters. I've said this before, but it's for me, it's always been about cake. I love cake. It's one of my favorite things on the planet. Cake is incredible. And it's okay for me to have cake, but it is not okay for cake to have me. There have been times in my life when I've turned to cake whenever my life has been difficult instead of turning to God. And I needed to steward my body well and turn to Him instead. And you have likely some sort of challenge in your physical body where you're turning to something else instead of turning to God. Then you need to make sure that you're stewarding well, asking Him, what would He have you do with your body? The second is this, your time. Each of us has been given 24 hours. We get 24 hours to deal with all the things that God has thrown at us and the things that come our way throughout the day. And that means that you've got to make sure that you're on task all the time. Doesn't mean that you have to be busy all the time, but you need to make sure that you're hearing from the Lord and doing what He's asked you to do. We get 24 hours, which means we've got to, within that 24 hours, we've got to sleep, and we've got to work, and then we've got to be a part of other people's lives. We've got to be dealing in relationships, and those 3 pieces are key to your time. You've got to figure out what's a good amount of sleep for you. Now, I know that they recommend 8 hours of sleep, but the truth is that most people can function off 6 pretty well. Anything below 6 and you start getting into functionality issues, probably where your body's starting to break down. So we don't want to see that happen to you as it pertains to how you're dealing with your time, your job. What is it that you're doing and how long are you doing it? And you want to make sure that you're spending your time well on the job. You want to do all things as unto the Lord. And then when you're not sleeping, when you're not toiling the ground, when you're not working, what is it that you're doing? How are you spending your time with other people, whether it be your family, friends, co-workers, neighbors, whatever it is? That you want to make sure that you're investing your time well, that you're not just wasting your time. You don't need to be up hustling in hustle culture 24 hours a day, nor do you need to be sleeping 10, 12 hours a day either. But we want to make sure that we're stewarding our time well. The third thing is this, influence. And I think this could be one of the most important things, because influence really has to do with what you're doing with the things that God has given you. Your words, your leadership, how you are as a father, how you are as a coach, the influence that you have on other people's lives. How are you stewarding that? Are you taking the time to talk to God about all of the things that come your way throughout your day in those areas, in fatherhood and coaching and leading? Those areas are key. Again, when we're talking about dealing with other people, the influence that God has given you, what are you doing with it? And you have to remember that all of those things are on loan from God, that God has given you influence in other people's lives. What are you doing with it? Are you stewarding it well? We want to make sure that we're doing all of those things. Now, I don't want you to get overwhelmed, right? Like when you start thinking about stewarding your body, your time, and your influence well, I don't want you to be overwhelmed in those things. God isn't really asking you to be perfect. He is asking you to be faithful. And if you're faithful, then you'll see progress. And I really think that's where I have been the most of my life. I just didn't understand it. I really wanted to be perfect. I wanted to try to figure out ways to make it happen. And I think that God just wanted me to be faithful. And the more faithful I am, the better I got. And that's where I am today. And I want to encourage you, because I think you may be carrying the burden of being perfect. And stewardship isn't about being perfect. Stewardship is about leaning into what God has for you in each area of your life, and then doing what He's asking you to do, to be faithful and obedient in the daily. And so we want to make sure that we keep showing up, we keep going at it the way that God has called us to, and then let Him shape every part of our life. That He's the owner, that we are the stewards. That for us, it's about following His leadership. So then let me ask you a question. What is God nudging you to do? What is He leading you to do? What is the area that maybe you're not stewarding well? Is it your health? Is it your time? Is it your family? Is it your calling? Right? Like what is the particular area that maybe you've not been stewarding the best? Stewardship starts with one small act, to make sure that I'm going to listen to God and what He's leading me to do. And so I want to encourage you to take that step this week, that you can lean into God and what He has for you, to trust Him enough to lead you so that you can steward well all the things that He's given you. Not just your money, although that's an important piece of it, but your body, your time, and your influence. Are you stewarding them well? If this was helpful, hit the like button, subscribe. I will see you soon.